platform, the unofficial HubSpot morning show where we start every day by waking up to the value you already have. I'm Chris Carolan, and every morning at 6 a.m. Central, we're here to help you discover the platform power you already own but probably aren't using. If you're joining live, drop a hello in the comments and let me know what you're waking up to in HubSpot today. If you're catching the replay, timestamps are in the comments to help you navigate. Let's wake up to what's happening in the HubSpot ecosystem. First of all, what's happening? Chris, why are you doing another show? Um, I have just learned so much this year from doing various types of shows, um, including recently Wake Up with AI with George and Nico. And one thing that I am feeling like uh, is pretty powerful is this ability to access audiences that the ecosystem hasn't really been good at accessing. What do I mean by that? Um, Hearing stories of people that were not expecting uh, getting exposed to this daily show, and I'm pretty sure it's just a matter of the fact that we're showing up every day. Our faces are on feeds. Our our voices are in podcasts. It's a relevant topic with relevant message, you know, valuable content, trying to keep people up to date with AI because it's moving forward every day. Um, so why haven't we been good at accessing a certain set of users? Um, I think it's because we've gotten so good at. There's two things. We've gotten so good at understanding where the super users are, right? And Sprocketeer, they show up to the admin hug every week, and we have this LinkedIn echo chamber, right? But outside of that, and let's just use Sprocketeer as an example, like got 2,300 people, 2,400 people, something like that right now. There are 200,000 customers, in this case, organizations that own HubSpot. So multiples of that of users. And we're not even scratching the surface. And uh, if we want people to be educated and stay up to date on what's possible with HubSpot, we want them so badly to feel the value of HubSpot, the thing that they're investing in. We got to start showing up every day if the platform's changing every day. Um, so it's a lot of, let go of preconceived notions about what kind of content works, what kind of content doesn't, what we need to do to prepare and share knowledge. You know, Another thing I've learned is how much gets in the way of sharing knowledge. So much. We need to be too prepared. We need to worry about this risk and that risk. And how do we target? Uh, Very recently, the targeting, like if they don't know you already, good luck. Good luck targeting, right? It doesn't matter if their job title is in the message or even if you act like you know them, like the message might be really on point. But the fact is, if I haven't seen you before, I know like there's a tactic at play, and just that alone like decreases the value and the chance that I'm going to interact. So until I know you and like you, it's very difficult to, target and engage with me. And that's, seems to be for all these users, for all these non-super users, all these non-super admins, how do we connect with them when HubSpot is very much not their priority, right? Why isn't it their priority? Because they're running organizations, because they're selling stuff, because they're marketing stuff, because they're serving customers. And HubSpot is one of the tools that they use to get that stuff done. But there's only one user type, and that's the official super admin that their job is HubSpot. And that's why they're so engaged in these communities. That's why they're so engaged on LinkedIn. But how do we help everybody else? Um, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here with another show. Wake up with customer platform. Uh, Maybe it'd be awesome if it could be called Wake Up with HubSpot. But yeah, lots of stuff in the way of that. And again, like maybe I could get that done by showing the value uh, and explaining that, but all the kind of red tape that would get in the way. And, it's just, it holds back, knowledge sharing. So maybe this is just me, talking at the camera each episode. Maybe this is, we have some people come on every now and then. But definitely last Friday when I was talking about the deliverable object, it reminded me of what it was like uh, to be the expert on the other side, sharing the knowledge. I've had a lot of fun, helping a lot of other people start sharing their knowledge, and that was very important to me to get there. But I definitely miss some of this, just sharing my thoughts, my opinions, uh, strategies and things I've learned in my experiences to kind of help, people understand the value of HubSpot. And how most of their challenges are actually outside of HubSpot. Uh, so that's a little bit of what I hope to accomplish with this show. Um, and of course, news updates, product updates. We'll start hitting on that stuff. Um, but the one thing that's been super interesting, and this is where we'll dive in. Um, so I'm going to talk about custom objects and just other objects outside of other other ways to track data today. But I just like something that's been super interesting for me of late is checking out the HubSpot Reddit. Right. And I think this, if you're trying to understand how to access the non-super users, there might not be a better place right now, I don't think. Because again, Sprockets has like 2,300, 2,400 people in there, but they're all super admins, usually the ones that are engaging at least, super admins, partners, the super users, the die-hard HubSpotters. What I'm seeing in Reddit is very much not that. Um, and you can see some people in here are definitely, people we're used to seeing. Um, but just to like, it's got a very B2C feeling for me in terms of like the types of requests and the knowledge, man, the vast spread of knowledge or lack thereof, right? Um, so here we have tracking actual customer demos in HubSpot. I work with freelance cold callers that use a personal meeting link from HubSpot to schedule demos in my calendar. These freelancers are paid for meetings that actually took place. We have a 15% no-show rate. How can I track which meetings took place last week and which freelancer has scheduled them? We have HubSpot Starter. Thanks. That's super helpful information. You usually don't get which HubSpot they have. Um, uh, simple, simple problem with a simple solution. You can create a meeting link per freelancer, even though they are all linked to your calendar. You could use deal stages. Meeting booked being first stage, demo complete. Meeting booked being first stage, demo complete being the second stage. Then you can track how many progress from stage 1 to stage 2. Uh, these are both important points. Um, let's give them an upvote. But it highlights, right? Like there's so many different ways to do things in HubSpot. Um, so many different answers to give. We're all building in silos right now, so it's very hard to standardize, you know, in a way that helps newcomers understand, what is possible. Um, another thing, another one I wanted to highlight, right? So we've got just people trying to spark discussions. Let's talk about the quotes tool. I wanted to hear what are everyone's thoughts on the quotes tool, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Uh, this is the kind of post where I'm not sure I saw anything misinforming necessarily here. Um, but so easily, since HubSpot is moving so quickly, it's very easy to find misinformation uh, in these places, right? Design functions are too limited. Also, editing the templates is annoying as the sections aren't clear. That's fair. Uh, HubSpot just bought CPQ company cash flow, so hopefully it is about to get better. I 100% agree with that. Free Magicite says we've built an actual native alternative to HubSpot quoting, adding rules, price books, approvals. QuoteHappily.com, free to try it. Man, with a name like Free Magicite, could that be Dax? I'm pretty sure. Uh, Probably not going out too much of a limb on that one. And we have this, valuable input. It sucks. Uh, the last example I wanted to show, if I can find it here. Here we go. One where I actually gave some input. Um, why aren't people using Breeze AI for live chat more? Is it because the customer service professional plan is too expensive? Is it because they don't have the knowledge base to feed it? Is it because it's too fresh for people to have taken notice? I guess it's only a month old. Any other ideas? I'd really like to know as I've built something that relates to the second question. Generally, two types of threads that I've seen so far. It's either people trying to build solutions for HubSpot for the problems, or it's random random problems, right? Um, Frosty says probably all of the above. Most companies aren't turning customer service over to AI yet. Even if they plan to, there will be a drawdown, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. Too much legal liability. No one wants to be the precedent making case when they get sued because their stupid ass AI did something it wasn't supposed to do. Probably strictly limited to small startups right now, which really isn't HubSpot's target market. Lots of assumptions in here, but not necessarily wrong, on the right track. But like I said before, how many things don't get done because we find ways to, um, you know, focus on risk instead of opportunity. But where I like to go with it is, you know, first of all, it depends on the size of the organization and industry. Lack of content. Been talking about this in most of the shows right now. Content and data. That's what teaches AI right now, right? Until it doesn't need us anymore, and it creates its own data sets to learn from, which are probably not far away from that. And I don't blame it. We're not the most intelligent bunch sometimes. So if we're trying to create an intelligent tool, uh, maybe not always draw on human experience and understanding. Uh, so, but stuff like this, I love interacting with it because it helps me understand. It helps me dig into what the problem actually is, or what from my experiences, and why doesn't the content exist? Why doesn't the data exist to support these use cases? Why can't they just turn on AI? And ahead of this answer, I come back to this use case that was described at Inbound, where a company was able to replace 750 support users with two AI chatbots. Like, wow. talk about like yes, there is gains there, but did they really need 750? Probably not, because they couldn't just turn on the AI. Like they had to fix their damn processes so that AI could understand what the hell to do. They had to create things that could feed the AI to tell it what to do. Well, those things probably didn't exist, and that's why they needed 750 people, right? So not always apples to apples comparisons as we talk about headcount and what AI can do versus people. So please keep that in mind. Um, there's a lot of traps when talking about headcount savings when it comes to AI tools. Uh, but we needed, let's say in this case, and I'm making assumptions, I don't know anything about the actual use case described there, but in my experience, the closer the interaction with the customer, like in CS and sales, the less content there is to support asynchronous communication and learning because companies have been able to get away with humans doing one-to-one, right? Whether it's the delivered portal I've talked about, whether it's, you know, lack of a sales process on your website, not adhering to the ask you answer, not answering questions openly, honestly. We have humans who can pick up the phone, they can answer the email, right? So we just let them do that. And in these spaces like B2B, they don't necessarily expect anything different because nobody's out there doing this well. Um, there aren't great customer experiences on websites. There aren't great knowledge bases, right? So they've relied way too heavily on one-to-one communication, right? And even though AI itself, right, this is the easiest the transition to doing this has ever been because AI, the change, can actually help you do that, right? So most of these companies could take user documentation. They could take product documentation, like user manuals, support documentation, and get help from AI to whip up a knowledge base. Like you can even upload PDFs into Claude now, right? Just update that just came last week. So you can use these things. You might be able to download I'm sure there's a way to download your whole damn Outlook database from your emails, serve it into AI, and come up with every Q&A, you know, ever that has ever transpired with those sales reps or those customer service reps. That's actually a great idea. I haven't thought about that. I'm sure somebody's doing that already. If not, somebody should get on that. That being said, they still haven't made the connection. Businesses have still not made the connection that supporting the asynchronous communication needs, right? I don't necessarily want to talk to somebody live. It's like 9 p.m. and I have a question. I want to go to your website. I want to go to your knowledge base. I want to search Google or AI to find the answer, and I cannot get it because it does not exist on your website or in an article or on LinkedIn or anywhere online, right? And not necessarily because you've refused to do so, but you haven't prioritized this need. So until you prioritize the need, you're not going to ask AI for help to create the knowledge base, to create all this content and data that's going to support AI chats. And when we first started, I thought this was an industrial manufacturing problem. It's actually a B2B problem. Now, this is one of those places where I think, you know, tools like HubSpot, this is why I talk about maybe this is the shortcut to digital transformation. It certainly can be, right? Originally, I was saying things like, how could you possibly digitally transform if you, how could you possibly leverage AI if you haven't digitally transformed yet? Now, mentally, I think there's a strong case to be made for that narrative and why we're here talking about the value of this change every day. But the cool thing now is you can get help from AI to help you digitally transform. Um, and because this is what we run into, right? The opening post. Yeah, I think I have something for the content issue, right? Of course, there's all of these tools that can help us repurpose the hell out of all of the content that we have, right? But when we think of content, especially in B2B, it's generally all about marketing, all about sales. We don't look to things like user manuals and all these documentations that actually sometimes they have some brilliant screenshots and demos and just like checklists. Like it's all the stuff. It's all the stuff you want to have on the marketing and sales side. You just don't ask your product teams, your engineering teams. You don't make it a part of the process. So by the time it's done, now that team is like, oh God, like here you go. Here's the 100-page PDF, marketer. Like go nuts. Well, now we can. We can go nuts now, right? We couldn't before because it would be somebody there scanning and then screenshotting and then having to recreate it because it's in some kind of protected PDF, right? So the tools to repurpose is not necessarily the problem. It is getting people to understand the value of asynchronous communication and the resources they need to support AI, right? And I think that's a fair concern for anybody creating product right now is do people understand the actual problem, right, that we are trying to solve, with AI? Um, so generally, when we like it's not about budget in this case. Like the savings are clear. Like if you start to, serve customers in this way. So if we're talking about budget, we're not a good place. We're not um, doing what's possible justice. And so something I was going to touch on today, but spend a little longer on Reddit. Um, Maybe we do that every day. Like hopefully just like I feel like awareness of what HubSpot can do, awareness of the actual problems people have, awareness of this knowledge gap, awareness of like just because somebody says something in an answer here, I've seen lots of pricing that's just wrong, that hasn't been updated, especially as we use these AI tools, like with so many upgrades and changes in the last 2 years. Like, consider that most of the information about HubSpot online is out of date. So when we don't see people creating up-to-date content, it creates all these gaps. Not only does it create gaps like lack of Commerce Hub content, lack of CMS content, lack of Ops Hub content, right? We also see anything that is out there is very likely to be out of date, right? Because the platform has moved so fast in the last 2 years, right? And that's like there's like 2,000. I imagine there's like 2,000 updates in the last 2 years, right? And Kyle Jepsen has been the only one showing up every day. So even if he was showing up every single day for 2 years, that's 700, uh, ish. That's 1,300 short of the updates. So hopefully with this show, start attacking this problem every day, right? Uh, because it is a problem. Like maybe that's the first step is understanding this problem. Because lack of awareness creates lack of adoption, like hands down. Either I can't do the thing, like way too many conversations that I have end up with, oh yeah, they just fixed that. Here's the link. Done in 5 minutes. And this is with people who like know their shit. They're in HubSpot every day. HubSpot is their primary job, but nobody can keep up. So when that keeps happening, right? Do we have to sit back and just, wait for those questions? Wait for the easy wins? Because in reality, if they ask the wrong person, a person driven by revenue or driven by, selling HubSpot or building stuff, they might not give you that link. They might ask for the extra hour to figure it out. They might ask for the project, right? When in reality, you just need a link to the latest beta, and it's a 5-minute problem. And that's what we want to be doing if we're truly empowering HubSpot users and admins and businesses to get the money, to get their money's worth when it comes to investing in HubSpot. So the rest of the week, I'm going to be focused on, custom objects and like one of the most undervalued things on the platform, I think. Now we have object libraries. The object library that introduced appointments, courses, listings, and services, which I'll show you some ways to just think about those as basically custom objects as free at the free level, right? The power of those objects are non-deal, non-ticket objects that can be managed via pipelines. Pipelines, I think, have a way of activating the entire HubSpot tool set. So instead of thinking about these objects as just new data containers to separate stuff, let's think about how we could actually use them for our business. Um, but that's our show for today. Remember, the solution you're looking for is probably already in your HubSpot portal. Sometimes you just need to wake up to it. Join us tomorrow at 6 a.m. Central. Share this with another HubSpot user who needs this wake up call and let me know your biggest takeaway in the comments. I'm Chris Carolan, and this has been Wake Up with Customer Platform. Go build something amazing. Have a great day, everybody.